Hey, Jonathan here at TopSaw. Today I'm going to go over a Amana Fly Cutter router bit for surfacing lumber. This is TopSaw all things wood. I do tree work on the weekends, bring the logs in, we mill them out, then make furniture in the high school wood shop. And today I have a black walnut cookie, you can see on the screen there, and I'm going to try surfacing it with this Amana Fly Cutter. So it's the first try with this tool. We'll see how it goes. Tried a few fly cutters before. I have heard good things about these multiple knives on the Amana Fly Cutter right here. So I'm curious to see how this thing's going to work. It wasn't inexpensive, but when I went to the heliarchal cutters on both the router and the joiner, it changed how they machined all together. So I'm curious to see how this thing's going to work on the CNC. They are replaceable knives on there, as you can see. And they're also, you're able to turn them as well, so you get 4 edges. So when they dull, you could just rotate them. So you can see the 2 knives on top, and then the knives on the sides as well. So I'm not too sure how it's going to work. I'm very curious to see. It did come with hex keys to replace the knives, and then I bought some spare knives on it. It is a 1/2-inch shaft for the router, so you could use it in a handheld router, or Woodpeckers makes a cool jig for your router for surfacing for a scientific 4-foot by 8-foot CNC router. So I'm going to put it in there. I'm actually not going to write any programming for it. I'm just going to manually operate it with the keypad. So I'm going to put this in. Bring it down to 0, kind of find the right spot for it, and then I'm just going to run back and forth and see how it surfaces. So you can see it's just a Porter cable variable speed router. I have it set at 16,000 RPMs right now. On the top, that's not a programmable feature. You just set that at the top. And then I have that, I think 3/4-inch ball end mill in there right there. And I'm going to replace that with this new Amana cutter. And as you could tell, it's already a 1/2-inch collet in there. These are dual action collets, so you loosen it till it gets hard to turn, and then you pop it through there, and that helps pop it out. So let's put this in there. Nice and tight. Absolutely safety glasses on. Don't really run this kind of thing unless you know what you're doing. Routering is a very violent action, and if something goes wrong, it could blow up big parts and send them towards you. So safety first. So I'm fixturing this thing down with little wooden blocks that I've cut bevels on. Screw them to the tabletop with the bevel up against the wood. I probably have 5 or 6 of those. So no penetration through my block. And then here I am starting to CNC it. This is 5:1 time lapse. I know you can't really see what's going on. I'll move the camera. But it's actually, I got a really good feel for it. I did screw up right away. I was on too fast and I put that plunge in there. I don't know if I'm going to take the whole thing down to that thickness now. And you can see how I have it all fixtured down better here with all these little wood blocks cut on a bevel, kind of pinching it down. Certainly no movement in it. I'm definitely getting a beautiful flat surface here. I don't know how it's going to go over there. I feel like I'm actually traveling at a pretty good feed rate. As the board gets thicker and higher up, I'm doing less of a pass, so I'm not doing too much of a step over, if that makes sense. So, man, that thing is cutting beautifully. Let me just show you what I have on the CNC router here. So now that I feel like I got a good 0 spot, I zeroed all my coordinates out. So I am calling that my 0, 0, 0. So that plunge cut really kind of irritates me. I don't know how I'm going to fix that damn hole except for take the whole thing down. Okay, 5:1 time lapse. I'm just manually drawing that thing back and forth. I'm trying to do it by sound, so the feed rate is on a pretty high, fast level. But the step over determines how many inches of width I'm taking out. So when the natural plane starts to increase, so my thickness of cut is more, then I decrease my step over. So you could see the kind of the varying speeds here, going over those places that are through the board. It's just spinning fast with no load on it. You can see taking off a lot of wood now. It's a giant step, so I'm really loading up that cutter. I am unbelievably impressed with that cutter. I know it's brand new and sharp, but it's taken a lot of wood out. There's no chatter at all. Kind of went into this rot pocket right here, and there's still no chatter or markings at all. That's going to sand out beautifully. I'm going to stay on that same depth of cut, and I'm going to make my step overs a little bit less. I'm going to change the camera angle. I'm going to try and put it over here. Okay, well, I screwed up. Not unusual for me, but you could tell this block right here came loose, and that's what hogged that thing out. Not too sure what to do about that. If I should just maybe cut this whole thing off here. I don't even know if this is going to be a coffee table. I'm not too sure what I do with this hole. If I leave it a hole or fill it or something. Resin fill it. I'm not too sure. I don't know if I screwed a brand new cutter up by just bogging that thing down. The wood's pretty rotten, so I don't think it ruined the knives on it. But I think what I'm going to do is I still have my Z, so I'm going to bring it back over here. Let me turn on the Rotex sander, and we get a look at what that thing's going to look like. Note to self. Don't mount the tripod where you're sanding in your Rotex sander. Sorry if you're getting car sick watching this. It's a beautiful surface. I mean, there's no step on there at all. It's perfectly flat. I got that screw up. I got that screw up. So a little more time-lapse video, 5:1 time-lapse. I'm actually traveling back and forth in the y-axis instead of the x, trying to see if I could surface that area with the rot pockets and the broken board there. The flywheel was in fact not damaged from running it into that piece of walnut there where it popped up and just the bit got overloaded with wood, which was my mistake. I think that really speaks very well for this Amana bit, that it could take out a tremendous amount of wood even by accident and still not be damaged. So very impressed with this flywheel cutter or surfacing bit so far. And actually I ended up breaking out that little block altogether, so it's all fixtured down pretty nicely here, and it's turning out to surface pretty well. I'm probably going down almost 3/8 of an inch, kind of smaller step overs, and traveling at 2 inches per minute or so. Now I'm going back to the other side of the slab and finish surfacing. I still have my Z set, so I'm taking it all down to a certain 0 level, and I think I have most of it. You know, it was cut originally as a chainsaw cut, so there's probably over a ½ inch of difference between one side and the other side. All right, I'm all done getting a base 0 down. I don't want to move the part. Now it's going to be really easy to program the computer just to run, I don't know, like right this divot here that I screwed up on. maybe it's 100 thou, maybe another 100 thou here. So now that I have a base flat plane, I'm going to set the whole, I'm going to try to program, zero it out, come down 100 thou, and then just clean the whole thing off. It's really hard to do that to start with because you don't really know the irregularity of it. This block right here, that one came out pretty good. But that wood cutter right there, that thing is the real deal. I do remember it was expensive, but it worked out 10 times better than I ever expected. This is just a slight sanding and we're done. And you could see in the video, I mean, I hogged all sorts of different types of wood, different speeds. This is black walnut, but I went probably, I don't know, quarter, half inch on some of those cuts over there at really fast feed rate, small step overs. I mean, I feel like if anything was going to test that Amana tool, it would be this. I programmed out the square, now it's just running on auto. I'm coming down 15 thou. 200 inches per minute, 100 and 100. Well, that came out beautifully. I am very impressed with that bit. Dude, made some dust here. And I don't know how much is in the vac. Might be half a 50-gallon drum. Yeah, I'm just going to Rotex sand it. And that's it. And then I don't know what to do. Now I'm surface flat. I am going to leave it fixtured, and I'm going to leave my Z0 because I might do like an inlay over the center here. And maybe put some bow ties across some of these big checks. But it's all fixtured down on the CNC, so it should be pretty easy to do. All right, once again, thanks for watching.